Hiya Bestie, how you doing? We're back at it again for another Budget Bestie. Budget Bestie is a series where people anonymously submit their budgets to me. I take a look at them and see what I might do if I was in their situation. This is not financial advice, however, sometimes me just having different eyes on somebody else's budget can be really helpful, but the real help comes from the comment section down below. So if you believe I'm doing something wrong, or if you might do something a little bit differently, make sure your voice is heard down in the comment section down below. It is so useful to not only the person whose budget this is, but also to other people in similar situations who this might be. But we've got an interesting one today, so let's get into it. So today we are using the stunning Paycheck Bill Tracker. She is the A5 version. She's available on my Etsy store and she's beautiful. We've got the rainbow version, but we've got tons of other versions available. It's a pad of 25, so they're really good for making scratch budgets, because if you make a mistake, you can just tear it off and start again. So this person says, we are a family of 4 in the southwest, the husband and wife with 2 children, both in our mid-30s, and makes us panic that we have debt, no savings, and still don't own our home. I think mid-30s, that's really normal to not have a home. Like, it really is. Our goal is to be able to have a deposit saved by January 2026. I mean, that's a nice goal. YouTube Premium is what we pay for music, and we share with family members who pay to use it, so it's cheaper than Spotify. Lovely. Okay, so let's start getting into this budget, Bestie. So first thing we're going to start with is income. So we've got income here, and they've not broken it down for me. They've just done 4,100, and I think that's combined. So we're looking good there. What I think I'll do is I'll go through their bills with you, and then we'll talk about it all afterwards. So first of all, we've got rent, which is 915. So that's pretty steep, but it could be. Actually, no, it's all right, actually. That's okay. Council tax is more than what I was paying. So council tax is 195. Then they have water, which they do every month. That is 41. And I think for a family of 4, I think that's pretty good going, actually. Internet is 45. I would consider shopping around for that, because that seems pretty high unless you've got like a TV package with it. Then they do gas and electric. So gas and electric, that's pretty reasonable, £150 per month. I remember I was paying 180, so yeah, that's not too bad. Then they have a subscription here, which is Netflix. Netflix is 16 for them, and then they have YouTube Premium, and as they said, that's how they get their music, and they get some money off family for that as well. So that's 20, and I assume the money from the family goes towards that. Then they have 2 phones, so phones times 2, and they are both SIM-onlys, which I am pleased about, and it is £34, and I think that's pretty reasonable, actually. I think that's pretty good. Then they have Apple, so just one of them, and it's just the 99p thing for the storage. Then they have Xbox Battle Pass, probably for one of the kids, or maybe one of them. That's 13. Then they have Asda delivery, so it's like they pay like £7 a month, and then they're able to get their shopping delivered. So Asda delivery is £7. Then car insurance, maybe they share a car. It's 49. Ooh. Hopefully that's both of them together. That seems pretty high. Then they have a car payment, and they don't list this as a debt. So I'm not going to list it as a debt. So we're just going to leave it as a normal monthly thing. I never class my car payment as a debt either. So I'm just going to leave that as a bill. So that's £212. Then they have Amazon Prime there. So Amazon Prime, which is £9. And then they have swimming classes and cubs for their kids. So I'll just put swimming stroke cubs, and that is 72. Ooh, Cubs be making a fortune. Ooh, so all of that comes up to 1779, which leaves them with 2321. So let's move up to envelope. So this is what they say. So we spend around £150 a week on groceries, including household bits, which is high, but my son has autism and other disabilities, which makes it impossible to do cheaper with the food he eats. Some kids just eat beige food, and while it's a shame that that is the scenario, they have to eat it, otherwise they're not going to eat anything. So you just kind of have to get what they want, and they want the same meal over and over again. Petrol is £120 a month. We get a weekly takeaway on a Saturday night of £35 for the 4 of us, but sometimes we get a cheeky McDonald's on a Wednesday due to kids' clubs. Me and my husband completely share money, but we transfer £150 each month into our personal accounts for self-care, clothes and fun. I put £159, which is child benefit, into an account for the boys to save for clothes, toys, sensory bits, but honestly don't know where the rest goes, which is pretty embarrassing as I am an accountant. Just seem to have a spending problem. Please help. Right, let's take a look at these envelopes. So first of all, we have groceries. So they say that they spend £150 a week, so that's £600 over a 4-week month, and I would say that is getting on the high side, but if there are savings to be made, I'm sure you're trying to make them. You say petrol is 120, so petrol is petrol, you need to get to work and stuff, and then you do about 150 for takeaway, so it's £35 per week, and then the odd McDonald's, so let's just go 150 just to make it easier. And then in terms of spending money and self-care, which you do is £150 each, so spending is £300, and when you consider it's half of your grocery bills, it's a bit high when you're in debt. That's just me though, like it's not, no judgment or anything like that, no judgment at all, but yeah, it seems a bit high, but we'll look at that later on. So that all comes up to 1170, leaves you with 1151. So they spoke about a sinking fund. So let's go over to this bit here. So what are you currently saving for? They say our first house, we currently have £400 in an ISA, and we also have £500 in savings for an emergency fund so far. We would love to save for Christmas, school uniform and holiday. So those are their sort of saving for things. Their main financial goal is to pay off debt and to buy their first home. But their issues are impulse spending, takeaways, treating yourself after a hard day with a clothes order. So we need to sort of take a look at all of that stuff. So they have home ISA. They haven't told me how much they put towards it, so I'm going to put 0. And I don't know if you've misspoke, because it seems like you're in the UK, you're under 30, and if this is your first home, I'd definitely consider looking at a LISA, a lifetime ISA instead, because the interest rates are so much significantly higher. Do your own research, see if it's the right thing for you. Then they have emergency fund here, so emergency. So emergency. I don't think they have like plans scheduled for any of this, and then they'd like to start saving for Christmas, which is 0 at the moment. School uniform, which is currently 0, and holidays, which is 0. So at the moment we've got 0. They may well put money towards that, but they haven't told me about it. So it's still 0, and it still leaves them with 1151. So let's take a look at the debt. So they have 2 debts. First of all, it is a loan for £6,583, which is asking for £361 per month, and the interest rate is 14%, which is, you know, pretty reasonable. Then they have an Aqua card, and Bestie Aqua card. The interest rate on that is 37%. Wow. They owe £776 and it's £35 a month. So, we need to get rid of that Aqua card. That is bad. So let's put loan. The minimum per month is £361, and the Aqua card is 35. That's not even the interest, I bet. So their minimums are 396, which leaves them with 755, and that's currently what they have as a buffer. So it's yeah, so they say, I don't know where the money goes. It is things like birthdays. It's things like school uniform that they have to replace. It's extra bits and bobs all the way. Like that's where their money's going. Like having 2 kids, it is very, very expensive, and you know that's where the money is going. So that 755 is draining away very quickly, especially if they're constantly in debt with Aqua. And we'll go into a debt plan later on, because like Aqua is 37% interest. So when they owe £700 and their minimum is 35, their interest is probably in the £40 range. So they're getting deeper in debt every week. So let's bust out a different coloured pen. We're going to go for this bad boy. We're going to go for the pastel purple girly, and we're going to make some changes. So first of all, what I want to highlight to this person is subscription, and subscriptions. So we've got lots of subscriptions, right? We can't watch Amazon TV and Netflix and YouTube and play Xbox all at the same time. It's physically impossible, right? All of this comes up to £58. £58 towards your debt would make a serious dent into your Aqua card. I don't see that as realistic. So what I would encourage you to do is divide that by 2. Pick the ones that you want to use currently. So you want to watch YouTube and Netflix. Keep those 2 and get rid of the others. When YouTube and Netflix become boring, delete them and get the other ones, and just swap and change. There's no need to have all of them all at the same time. So if you divide that by 2, it's going to save you £29, but that's going to make a big difference. So if you did that, that would then make your, your minimums to your bills 1750, which would leave you with 2350. It's not massive, but it's something. I would definitely consider having a look at your internet. That seems relatively high. Are you in a good standing with gas and electric? Is that reasonable? Do you need to up that? Because that seems really, really low. Really pleased with the phones. Is this £1 important? I know it's only £1, but do you actually need that? Because a lot of people have like Apple things that they just don't need. And are you getting the benefit of as the delivery? Are you getting as the deliveries all the time? Yeah. And then is this the cheapest you could do? Because that seems pretty high for a monthly thing. But anyway, that's where we're at. I definitely would make some changes when it comes to envelopes. So groceries are groceries. I probably wouldn't touch that based off of what you've said. And then for petrol, your petrol is your petrol. Like, I can't tell you not to drive anywhere. You've still got to go to the places you want to. What I would do though is £150 per month on takeaway. Seems like a lot. It's a quarter of your groceries budget. To me, when you're in a place where debt is so high considering your salary, it doesn't seem reasonable to me. But you need to understand that you are takeaway people and takeaways are important to you. So I would cut that in half. I would get a takeaway every 2 weeks. So it's something to look forward to. It's not just the bog standard Chinese that you have every single week. It's something that you're really, really looking forward to. I would cut that in half and make it £70 your budget. So every 2 weeks I'd do that takeaway. And then for your spending, I would reduce that. So at the moment you're getting a fair, like, I think it's about 50. I think you're giving yourself like quite a lot of money. What I do is I give yourself £30 per week. So when you do that over 4 weeks and times it by 2, it's £240. It's a bit like more structure there. You're only taking £60 away, but we're going to really repurpose that money really nicely. So this comes to 1030, which leaves you with 1320. So let's move over to your sinking fund. So I wouldn't actually do anything with your home or your ISA yet because we've got a debt repayment plan. I would start doing an emergency fund though. So let's look at emergency fund for you. So your minimums is 1750. So that's this number here. That's for your bills. And then when you add on your minimums for your envelopes, which is 1030, that leaves you, once you take away £70, which is your takeaway, because they're not necessities, right? Once you take that away, that comes up to 2710. 2710. That's what you need to get through a month, right? So in terms of emergency fund, you want ×6. So if you both lost your jobs or whatever, and you weren't getting any income for 6 months, you'd be fine based off of that. So when you times that by 6, what you actually need for an emergency fund, based off of what I believe, is £16,260. It's a lot of money, right? So I'm not expecting you to have that money straight away. When you divide that by 24, so if you save that up across 2 years, you want to be putting away £677.50, which is a lot. So if you divide that by 36, so if you get that across 3 years, you want £451.66. Still a lot. So when you divide that by 48, so in terms of getting that across 4 years, you will want £338.75. So if you're putting that away every month for 4 years, you will have what you need. And that seems a lot more achievable and attainable. And obviously things will happen, you'll start to need more or you'll start to need less. Things will happen, but at least you're in a really good place. And at the end of it, you got 16k, right? So I would start doing £340 just to make it easier, right? That's what I would do. Christmas, I put away £40 per month, which is £10 a week. like a £500 Christmas is really doable, especially for 2 younger kids. If you feel like you need more, put more into that, but that's just what I would do. School uniform, I do a tenner a week as well, and you want to do that throughout the year, because not only do you have to buy stuff at the start of term, you need to replace stuff throughout the year. You know all of this, right? So at least you've got a constant pot that you're adding into and taking out of, and it just feels better rather than just doing the one off. Yeah. Then I would do holidays. I'd start doing £40 for now, and we'll come back to it. I would encourage you to add 2 new sinking funds. So I'd add clothing, because you say that you have like a little bit of issue with that when you've had a tough day, you want to treat yourself. I wouldn't put anything towards it now, but I'd have that in the back burner. And then birthdays, because we seem to have forgotten about that, because that is an expense that when you don't have the money for it, you're going to feel guilt, so you're going to overspend. So having money for that all the time for your boys' birthdays, you're always going to be able to do that. So this all comes up to £500, leaves you with £820. So when we come to the debt and savings, I would work in an overpayment, and the goal is that you are paying £800 towards debt every month until your debt is gone. So that would mean an overpayment of £404 every month. Okay, so let's finish out this budget and go to the debt plan. So that will leave you with £20 left over, and that's a reasonable buffer based off of what I know here. So let's go ahead, turn this bit of paper upside down, and let's talk about this debt. So we're going to do it by the debt snowball method. So we're going to do the smallest debt and go down. So there's only 2 debts. So first we've got Aqua, and then we've got the loan. So let's go for Aqua first. We owe in total £776. The interest rate though is 37%, which is, once that's paid off, cut up that card, bestie. The minimum payment on that is £35. The loan, we owe £6,583. Feels like a lot, but a relatively small interest rate. It is high though, and the minimum you need to pay is £361. So let's go through this debt thingy. So we've got a minimum payment of 35, and then when we add our debt snowball, which is £404, that means that that is now 439. So we pay that off in 2 months with change. Gone, cut it up, never use that again. 37%. Anyway, so once that 439, you add it to the £361, that means that you're at your full snowball of £800. So when you start putting £800 towards this, you will have that paid off in 8 months. And to be debt-free in 10 months, that is some going, bestie. So with just releasing £800, you are gonna pay off debt so quickly. So let's get out a different colored pen and talk about what life might be like once you have paid off this debt. So once you have £800 available to you, you can do whatever you want. Now what I would encourage you to do is to start putting £700 towards your home. £700 per month. Let's get a calculator out. £700 per month times that by 12 across a year is £8.5 grand. That is a lot. Times that across like 3 years, 25k. That's a nice meaty deposit for a home. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I would do. I would then start treating yourself. So instead of doing £40 to holidays, I would then encourage you to put £100 towards holidays, because you will deserve it at that point. And then a nice big meaty holiday will be like wonderful. And then I'd start putting something like £40 per month towards clothing, because you can treat yourself. Now, if things don't, you know, clothing might seem a bit high for you, put a little bit more into Christmas. Jiggle around with those monies, but as long as it doesn't go over that 500 and then that 1300, you're laughing. But to be able to save £1,300 a month, rather than struggling to save £500 or having a plan and not actually putting anything away, it's significantly better, bestie. So that's the budget done and dusted. I'd love to know what you think about it. Hi guys, gals and non-binary pals, thank you so much for getting through to the end of the video. You know I love it when you get through to the end of the video. Please give this video some love, make sure you like, comment, share and subscribe, and if you are going to comment, please use this emoji. What would you do in this person's situation? It's a really easy one for me, because they earn relatively okay, their debt isn't at a place where it's completely out of control. They've got the opportunity to make something really special happen, and I wish them the best of luck. If you have ever had a budget bestie with me, if I've ever reviewed your budget, please, I'd love to know, have you implemented anything? What have you done? What's the difference? Because we've been doing this series for nearly a year now, and we've been talking about other people's budgets and not giving financial advice, and I'd just love to know what's happened. So yeah, also if you'd like to submit your budget bestie, the link is in the description, and if it is an interesting one, I should be able to have a look at it, bestie. So we do these videos every 2 weeks, and yeah, I hope you still like them because I love making them. Have you considered becoming a channel member or a patron? Patrons get sneak peeks, exclusive content, and significant discounts off my Etsy store. Channel members get early access to every single video. In fact, they've seen this video long before you have, bestie. Trust me on that. If you like the sound of those perks and you'd like to support me, have a look at the links in the description. You will not regret it, bestie. That's all we have for this week's Budget Bestie, but until the next week's Budget Bestie in 2 weeks' time, I would like you to have a wonderful day, have a wonderful week, and have a wonderful budget. Always remember,
don't trust Ira.
And bestie, I'm going to leave you with the Budget Bestie playlist. This has got every Budget Bestie we've ever done from episode 1 all the way to this one, whatever number this is. I really, really hope you enjoy it. Check this one out.